I'd like to start this video with an apology to the Fire Emblem community. I am so sorry that I let you be so cruelly misled by Zoran. In his video directed towards me, his lack of due diligence led him to say that I invented a turn save when I published what, to my knowledge, was the first recorded 2-turn clear of Conquest Chapter 11. You see, in his video, Zoran went through some low turn counts, or LTC clears for the chapter. All the videos he looked at cleared it in 3 turns, one more than the 2 that I showed off in my video. But I noticed 2 shocking omissions from his list of clears. Matas J98's Conquest LTC, and my own Conquest LTC currently not released to the public. In both of our runs, we cleared Chapter 11 in not 3, not 2, but 1 turn using completely different methods. The 2-turn you saw in my clear was nothing novel, but Zoran's erasure of the hard work of this community's real innovators is very disappointing. Additionally, in that very same video, when seeking to improve on what I presented, he merely reused the skeleton of my clear and reduced the number of rescue uses from 2 to 1. This left us with a disappointingly derivative clear. I will admit, progress is still progress. Zoran, there is still room in this community for optimizers like you. A modified version of this clear has already been implemented in an LTC by a metaslave. But Zoran, your lack of ambition saddens me because this map can be pushed so much further in an LTC context, even when staying within the rules of the Conquest Relay. I can tell you've fallen into one of life's greatest pitfalls. When you base your expectations only on what you see, you blind yourself to the possibilities of a new reality. In this video, I'll be showing you a brief glimpse of the many possibilities you hopelessly neglect in your play. I'll be making yet another unique clear, finishing the chapter in just 1 turn. Take this as an opportunity to educate yourself. While you may only think of me as an apprentice in the tactical arts, what good is a man who has stagnated so far into his ways that he can't learn from his apprentice? If you apply yourself, maybe one day you'll be justified when you call yourself a true master. It's time for Conquest Relay Round 2.2 Redux. I'll be starting from a level playing field, using the very same save you sent me following your clear of Chapter 10, but I won't be going to the map nearly as unprepared as you were. To begin with, my preparations won't be constrained to just this save file. I'll first be taking a detour to Birthright, finishing several playthroughs to get us just the right tools for the job. Along with soloing the vast majority of the game with Hayato, I made sure to raise a few units on the side to meet some extremely tight specifications. Once I'm finished with that, it's time to open the relay file. After changing the music, the first thing I need to do is get rid of all my non-essential items. Let's face it, most items in Fire Emblem just end up sitting in the inventory doing nothing. Just like the boots you get from killing Shura, they're only good for selling. Besides, what I'll be getting with this money is far more useful than most of my units' ability to attack. Of course, I won't be buying items. Instead, I'll be buying units. Felicia and Felicia. I'm doing this through the unit logbook, which was never disallowed in the Relay's rule set. The next thing I'll be doing is forging the dual club I'll be using the credit 2 range. Zoran, your clear really let me and Mecha down when you didn't end it with a dual club crit. That mistake will be rectified in my clear. After this, I'll be preparing a meal to boost Felicia's attack. And I'll finish the My Castle portion of the preps by using the private quarters to grind my support rank with Elise up to an A rank. This allows me to reclass Ariel into a Troubadour. Now let's get into the map. The 2 key units I'll be using in this clear are Felicia and Felicia, not to be confused with the Felicia who joins after Chapter 15. Let's start by talking about Felicia. Felicia hasn't gained a single stat from leveling up, and all non-essential skills have been removed. Those things would have made her cost a lot more in the unit logbook. The thing that sets Felicia and Felicia apart is their skills. You berated me for not bringing enough users of the Shelter skill, one of the most important parts of a low turn count clear. Yet you conveniently ignored the existence of several skills that can be just as powerful. In this clear, I'll be bringing the Warp skill. This allows Felicia to warp to a tile next to any ally and do actions from there. I'm probably the world's expert on how to use this skill, given how extensively I use it in my own Conquest LTC. This skill will allow Felicia to support Felicia, who's going to be the real star of the show. Felicia has 2 skills that will be instrumental in this clear: Gale Force and Lunge. You probably don't need me to tell you how important these can be for a low turn count clear. The extra movement Felicia can get from these skills gives us just what we need to make this clear happen. So let's get started. We'll start with the familiar move, using Niles and Camilla to clear a way forward by killing an Oni Savage. Next, we'll be moving Elise up. She's come armed with the rescue staff. Next, we sync for her with an unpaired Azura. We'll be sheltering her using Silas. The next unit we'll be using our Sig on will be Felicia. Baruka comes out to make that happen. Elise moves to the next room to rescue Felicia. Felicia will be moving up. She makes sure not to kill an enemy to preserve her gale force. Our next objective will be to get Azura in position to sing again. Aerial 7 movement allows her to transfer Baruka away. Great Knight Arthur steps in to shelter her. And finally, Felicia transfers her away and warps to Felicia's side. This lets us sing for the 3rd time this turn, letting us move Felicia to the boss. She kills this paired up samurai to lunge forward and activate Gale Force, giving her another action. This lets us move into the boss room and show off Felicia's combat prowess and lack of voice lines by killing this samurai. Finally, Hinoka suicidally initiates against Felicia, ending the chapter.
I refuse to accept this.
As you can see, I managed to complete this chapter in 1 turn. All done without violating any of the rules of the relay. I'm doing this while using the same number of rescue uses as the clear in your video. Now Zoran, I'm still very proud of you for the contribution you made by modifying my clear. After all, an incremental improvement on my clear is still an improvement. If I dropped a snail at a 13-mile marker of a marathon, it would still cross it. But it takes a more expansive vision to get to the real finish line. Now, the more pedantic of you in the audience might not be satisfied with this clear. Rule number 3 of the relay states that no DLC or path bonuses are allowed. Even though I've never had to open the Dragon's Gate DLC menu or the path bonuses menu in the relay file, it's true that the clear that I showed off wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't used the Dark Flower Enriched DLC classes on Felicia and Felicia. If you want to discredit my clear because of that, go ahead. But I've already got another clear cooked up that doesn't need to use either of those classes. It's time for Conquest Relay Round 2.2, Redux. 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 To make this clear possible, I'll be using another one of this game's mechanics that Zoran stubbornly ignores. The rewards you get from accumulating enough battle points and visit points. For those of us not as set in our jaded ways as Zoran seems to be, these rewards give us some of the most valuable items in the game. Specialty weapons from both routes, permanent stat boosters including 2 boots, the little-known Visitation Seal and Battle Seal which act as tradable stat stacking items, and most importantly, another rescue staff. While these items can be incredibly useful during a playthrough, they're also incredibly useful for the amount of gold they sell for. By selling some of these items, we can end up with more gold than we know what to do with, allowing us to improve the quality of the units we can get from the unit logbook. This time, rather than getting Felicia and Felicia, I can instead grab Felicia and Felicia. Felicia and Felicia have the most important skills from the Adventure class line, Pass and Movement +1. They also each have the extra movement they can get by using 2 boots. This makes them really expensive to buy, but the cost is well worth it if they can allow us to get another 1 turn. From here, Niles and his boots boosted movement can go forward and secure the kill with their reliable dual unit crit.
I'll take care of this.
Time to suffer.
I refuse to.
This gives us yet another 1 turn, without even having to kill a single unit outside of the boss. There's no need for the meaningless Hoshin bloodshed you've glorified in your video. Now, with so many possible avenues for getting a 1 turn under the Relay's rule set, the fact that you've missed all of them was very surprising to me. You've been making videos on Conquest for over 4 years at this point, and while I wouldn't say that you're past your prime, I don't blame you for growing complacent in your advanced age. It's not wrong to focus on other things. I'm sure you've got a bright future ahead of you as a Pokemon Nuzlocke. But when you're finally done having your fun with the new shiny Fire Emblem game, I hope you'll finally be able to dedicate yourself to mastering everything the best game in the series has to offer.